evening and welcome to BATV News. I'm Kalila Reynolds. Jamaica received less foreign direct investment last year than the year before. The latest World Investment Report shows that the decrease was part of a global decline. Andrew Laidler reports.
The latest World Investment Report released yesterday showed that foreign direct investment (FDI) across the globe declined by 2% in 2016. Jamaica received a preliminary estimated figure of $856 million in FDI, which was a slight decline in comparison to the country's 2015 achievement of $925 million. The World Investment Report 2017 also indicated that the downturn in global FDI was the result of weak growth in economies globally and the less than impressive performances in world trade. However, Jamaica was the leading host economy in the English-speaking Caribbean and among small island developing states (SIDS), capturing most of the FDI inflows directed to these countries. Jamaica's performance was lauded by the United Nations Conference on Trade and Development, which noted that the country was not losing momentum, as the level of 2016 FDI flows was 47% higher than in 2014. The report also said among the 7 small island developing states with registered projects, Jamaica was the most successful in attracting diversified FDI. Jamaica's leading position is also confirmed by the sectoral distribution of its FDI stock and the cumulative value of announced greenfield projects. In addition, the report noted that between 2011 to 2015, Jamaica attracted the most diversified projects and public-private partnership investments in energy and transport among small island developing states counterparts. Of a total 9 projects landed across the region with a value of $1.2 billion, Jamaica received 5. Meanwhile, the Inter-American Development Bank's IDB Infrascope report of 2017 has also officially recognized Jamaica's success by improving the country's ranking in PPI competitiveness from 8th to 4th when benchmarked against other Latin American and Caribbean countries. The report noted that Jamaica's performance reflects significant investment in mining, with Jiquan Iron and Steel Group Company Limited's GISCO acquisition of the Alpart Bauxite Mining Company for $299 million and large tourism projects from Royalton and Grupo Excellence over the period. In the meantime, the United Nations Conference on Trade and Development expects global FDI flows for 2017 to improve over 2016 performance. For BATV News, I'm Andrew Laidley.
Alpart workers have welcomed the reopening of the plant, promising to increase their productivity levels. Nordia Francis Williams reports.
Finance Minister Odishaw says the longevity of GISCO's operation on the island is dependent on the employees' productivity levels and work ethic. That is why the Finance Minister is calling on the Alpart workers to give their best. He says quality work is a show of good faith on Jamaica's part, which is crucial to maintaining the partnership with GISCO.
We are asking you and requiring of you your absolute highest levels of good worker attitude and good productivity so that this project can be a symbol of excellence, not just in Jamaica, but a symbol of excellence for GISCO in the Western Hemisphere.
In the meantime, one worker says the reopening of the plant has allowed him to better take care of himself financially.
Without this work right now, everybody did a look young for a young youth. I grew up and come, no matter, I have 7 subjects, much CXCs and CAPE, and I never did get no job. And this opportunity came around, and now that we are get job and thing, everybody love we have. You understand? Everybody I say, all right, then now, Damien, we can get a bills, Damien, we can get 2 bills. You understand? And we can help people. You understand? Because everybody I get a chance to come in one time. So we still help everybody, but everybody can come through, right? Give thanks and praises, man.
Meanwhile, another worker said he's grateful for the job opportunities GISCO has brought back to the community.
Oh God, man, at the family part, this, you know, every man part go on fire right now, you know. You know, sometimes you have to go in the bush and you are juggling in the bush, you know, and you can't make nothing, you know, but right you know, you see find the plant open, oh God, we thank God for the Chinese, them, man. For every man part go on fire now. Right now, you know, if I know man, I hitch up on a little corner again, you know, because every man do some work, you know. See it? So boy, we just glad for this opportunity once more, and we glad for life. Say the plant are go on. We part go back on fire again.
For BATV News, I'm Norda Francis Williams.
The Jamaica Public Service Company Limited, JPS, and the National Water Commission, NWC, have paid out millions to customers during the January to March 2017 quarter as a result of guaranteed standards breaches. The data are contained in the Office of Utilities Regulations Quarterly Performance Report for January to March. Anthony Morgan reports.
The OUR says JPS's compliance report on its performance on the guaranteed standards indicated that 26,762 breaches were committed over the period. It says these breaches attracted a payout of approximately $52.5 million, all of which was paid out by way of automatic compensation. The report says the number of breaches committed during the period declined by 29% over the October to December 2016 quarter. Meanwhile, NWC's compliance report on the guaranteed standard scheme for the review period indicated that 581 breaches were committed, with a potential payout of approximately $1.85 million. However, the OUR says actual payments amounted to $763,839.04, representing 41% of total potential payments. It adds that the payments were by way of automatic credits to the affected accounts and that the number of breaches during the period was 49% less than those committed over the preceding period. Additionally, the OUR says it secured over $652,000 for utility customers during the period as a result of its investigation into their appeals. It says overall there was a 15% reduction in the number of contracts made to the OUR's Consumer Affairs Unit during the period. The unit reported that 865 new contracts were received during the period. The regulatory body says the main reason for contacts was billing matters at 48%, with service interruption issues at 13% being the second highest reason. However, the OUR notes that when compared to the preceding period, these issues represent a 31% decrease. For BATV News, I'm Anthony Morgan.
Emmanuel Da Rosa is the new president and CEO of the Jamaica Public Service, JPS. His appointment takes effect on August 1. In a media release, JPS says Mr. Da Rosa is extremely pleased to accept the assignment to build on the work of his predecessor, Kelly Tomlin, and to serve the people of Jamaica. The Light and Power Company says Mr. Da Rosa has successfully led previous organizations to achieve top performance by adopting best-in-class practices and processes. JPS says Mr. Da Rosa has served as the CEO of the Northwest Territories Power Corporation, NTPC, for the last 6 years, where he led the organization to becoming an industry leader in Canada. And still to come, the government to pump millions into BPO infrastructure. The details after the break. Welcome back. The government is continuing work to expand the business process outsourcing BPO sector through investment of over $4 million on further infrastructure build-out. Education, Youth and Information Minister Senator Ruel Reid said this includes a cabinet-approved contract in the sum of $3.7 million, which has been awarded to China Harbor Engineering Company, Czech, to undertake foundation work for 3 BPO buildings at the Portmore Informatics Park in St. Catherine. He says the project sum was reduced from $4.9 million. Senator Reid says Cabinet also approved the award of a contract of over $929,000 to ZDA Construction Limited to build an entry lobby for the 63,000 square foot BPO building at the Montego Bay Free Zone. Meanwhile, Minister Reid added that a contract valued at $534,000 has been awarded to CSDC Systems Incorporated to effect automation of the government's electrical inspection processes using the Application Management and Data Automation Amanda software. He says another $1.5 million contract has also been given to Fast Enterprises to provide maintenance support to Tax Administration Jamaica's Revenue Administration Information System for 1 year. The minister was speaking at a post-cabinet media briefing at Jamaica House yesterday. Prime Minister Andrew Holness says if the island is going to have sustainable growth, then children must learn the value of taking care of the environment. The Prime Minister was making the keynote address at the Lasco Relief Environmental Awareness Program REAP Award ceremony yesterday. Andrew Lately reports.
Growth must come, but according to Prime Minister Andrew Holness, that growth will be short-lived unless the next generation learns how to responsibly care for the environment.
In order for Jamaica to experience sustainable growth, we must embed the right mindset in our children for protecting our environment for future generations.
Prime Minister Holness says Jamaicans should put more emphasis on environmental preservation now, in light of the fact that the hurricane season approaches and the island is still recovering from recent heavy rains.
Protecting our environment and planning properly for our development needs is paramount. Recently, we saw some of the adverse effects of not doing so, and especially now as the hurricane season approaches or is here, we must take greater care and responsibility for how we treat our environment and our environs.
He says improper recycling practices are starting to pose a serious threat to infrastructural developments.
I just thought I would put that in the public domain to raise our awareness that this is a major problem. Not only is it destroying some of our most pristine environments, but they also pose a threat to our infrastructure. Recently, well, not recently, but last year when we had the threat of the hurricane, many of our drains and gullies were blocked. And they were blocked by plastic bottles, plastic bags, and other items improperly disposed.
For BATV News, I'm Andrew Lately.
General Manager of the Jamaican National JN Foundation, Safri Brown, says while the Social Enterprise Boost Initiative, SEBI, has been working to grow the sector, it's time to engage all stakeholders in the social enterprise movement. She was giving opening remarks on the first of the two-day Social Enterprise 101 for Business Enablers and Industry Leaders workshop, which ended today. Amita Prasad Webb reports.
Safri Brown says it is time to get all stakeholders on board with the social enterprise movement.
You know, I see in the room here we have some great organizations and agencies. We have Tourism Enhancement Fund, National Housing Trust, JBDC, JAMPRO. I'm so happy to see Companies Office of Jamaica and Tax Authority, Heart Trust, RADA, DBJ. It's time that we engage you all in this movement, in the social enterprise movement. My background is NGO, is not for profit. And I have spent many, many years developing programs that were not sustainable.
She says with Jamaica having been a country with limited financial resources, there had to be an alternative to creating sustainable change in communities.
We had to come up with another solution to social and community interventions. And so 10 years ago, this year, we opened our first social enterprise called The Source in Augustown. Tiny little center, but it was designed as a social enterprise. It was designed as a business that was there to generate profit, that was going to be run by the community, for the benefit of the community, and owned by the community, but it was a business. And what we found is that The Source in Augustown took hold really, really quickly, and we did 4 more centers.
She says with this solution, Jamaica National realized that there was a need for infrastructure to support these social enterprises, and that's how the SEBI came about.
We then sat down and designed SEBI. We said, okay, what are the things that we think we need for more Source centers or more Source franchise or more social businesses to develop and grow? So we designed SEBI. One was to make social enterprises efficient businesses. That was objective one. Objective two was to create an enabling environment for social enterprises. Objective three was to improve the public's attitude of and awareness towards, improve the public's awareness of and attitude towards social enterprises. Those were the three objectives.
In the meantime, Ms. Brown adds that SEBI has been working on 3 major objectives over the last 4 years.
These are the things that we felt. First, we have to prove, we have to do proof of concept, right? We have to show that social enterprises can be efficient businesses like every other business in Jamaica. Then we had to create a network, business support services, financial services, DBJ is in the room. All that is part of creating that network of support. We have a great website, sebijm.com. I implore you all to use it as a real resource. They want me to...
For BATV News, I'm Amita Prasad-Webb.
Stay with us. Regional and international stories are after the break. Welcome back. It's time for regional and international news. Bahamian Deputy Prime Minister and Finance Minister Peter Turnquest has served notice that the country will have to resort to borrowing $722 million to stay afloat, declaring that the government's cupboard is bare. After delivering the national budget last week, he told reporters that the new Hubert Minnis administration is not only grappling with spiraling debt, but has been left with little to no revenue. Turnquest says to cover the fiscal overhang for 2016-17, the country will need to borrow $400 million, adding that some $322 million will be borrowed for the 2017-18 budget. The finance minister says the situation is far bleaker than was ever imagined, saying that the former government had woefully underestimated the country's debt. He says while they had forecasted a GFS deficit of $100 million, the actual turnout is now expected to be in the order of $500 million. Up to news time, exit polls are suggesting that British Prime Minister Theresa May's Conservative Party appears on course to lose her parliamentary majority in the UK general election. If the results are confirmed, it will be a huge embarrassment for Theresa May, who called a snap election in April in the hope of gaining an even greater majority of seats to give her a stronger mandate for upcoming Brexit negotiations. The poll suggests the Conservatives will be the largest party, but will secure only 314 of the 650 seats in Parliament's House of Commons, a loss of 17 seats. The main opposition Labour Party is tipped to win 266 seats, a gain of 34. If no party has 326 seats and an overall majority, then there will be a hung parliament that could plunge the country into political uncertainty amid talks of forming a coalition. And the recent terror attacks have not deterred tourists from visiting the UK. Here's more.
At London's St Pancras station, visitors are still arriving from the continent, Saturday's attack notwithstanding.
We're happy to be here. I was a little scared, but life goes on.
I wondered if I should come or not, but I'm here all the same. It's only for 4 days.
However, not everyone feels the same. Piccadilly Circus in the West End is virtually ground zero for tourists in London. But since the weekend, the normal crowds have evaporated. It's left the myriad souvenir shops empty, but staff aren't losing hope.
People having the panicking inside because there is an incident happened Saturday. People will come back. This is a great city. We need to be friendly with everyone. Yeah, we need all tourists as well.
That kind of optimism seems lacking elsewhere, though, along with the crowds, particularly in this riverside bar not far from London Bridge, where the attack took place.
I've seen a drop in customers by around 80%, which is quite something. I think people must be afraid. I wouldn't say I don't feel safe, but it does make you think. After all, I do work in the city centre.
Je suis vraiment centre-ville de Londres.
Even so, specialists still think London has its attraction. And despite the slump, things won't last forever.
We've seen attacks in the past, and over the past 5 years, we've seen an increase of 25% of tourism in London. So the industry is actually growing.
Just last year, 19 million tourists descended on London, an all-time record.
All right,
Women in Zimbabwe are finding new ways to save money during tough financial times. One of those methods is grocery clubs, which are growing in popularity. Groups meet routinely to pitch in money before they decide together what food to buy and share. Al Jazeera's Haru Mutasa reports from Harare.
Most of these women work as housemaids. They only have an hour for lunch, so they make every minute count. This is their monthly grocery club meeting. Each member gives $20 before they all decide what food to buy and share.
The $20 I contribute every month makes sure my family has food every month. When my husband comes home with his salary, I know I can use the money in other things my family needs.
When they get time off work, they go shopping. The big supermarkets are usually too expensive, so they've come to the cheaper side of the city. It can be hard work going from store to store looking for bargains. Some shops ask too much. Others only want customers who pay in US dollars. And in some, if shoppers use Zimbabwean bond notes, prices are higher because businesses don't have faith in the new currency. Eventually, the women get everything they need.
When things are a little bit tough, money is short, things are expensive, Zimbabweans have been so good at finding ways on how to deal with such situations. Zimbabwe, it's up, it's down, it's up, it's down. So we've become adept hand at finding ways of coping. So these are coping mechanisms for most households so that they can manage to survive with their children.
Officials at the Consumer Council say there are thousands of these clubs, also known as roundtables, across the country.
Grocery clubs are becoming more and more popular here. It's big business for shop owners. They try to attract customers by offering incentives, discounts on certain products, sometimes free transport.
Everything the women bought is evenly shared, and they've already started contributing to next month's grocery fund. The money will be kept in a safe place. No one is allowed to spend it. This makes sure no matter how bad a month they may have financially, they know their children will at least have something to eat. Haru Mutasa, Al Jazeera, Harare.
Stay with us. Talking Stocks is after the break. Welcome back. It's time now for Talking Stocks. 48 stocks traded today, of which 14 advanced, 24 declined, and 10 traded firm. The main JSE index declined by 1,417 points to close at 237,743. The junior index advanced by 3 points to close at 3,256. Over 10 million units traded, valued at more than $188 million on the Jamaican dollar market. And on the US dollar market, over 15,000 units traded, valued at over $4,000 US. Jamaican teas with over 3 million units changing hands accounted for 28% of market volume. Sagicor was second with 2.7 million units trading. JMMB Group accounted for 2.6 million units, amounting to 24% of market volume crossing the floor. Sweet River Abattoir and Supplies Company was the top advancer, up 36 cents to close at $3.86, followed by Siboney Group, up 2 cents to close at $2.22, and Carrera is up $5.49 to close at $88.87. The main decliners were Sterling Investments, down $1.64 to close at $15.26, followed by JMMB Group, losing $1.45 to close at $19.07, and Caribbean Cement Company down $1.72 to close at $27.28. In foreign exchange trading, the US dollar ended the day selling for $129.73 against the Jamaican dollar. The Canadian went for $96.60, while the British pound closed the day at $167.94 on average. And that's the news. But before we go, a recap of our top story. Jamaica received less foreign direct investment last year. The latest World Investment Report shows that the decrease was part of a global 2% decline. Thanks for watching. For more content, visit our website at batvja.com. I'm Kalila Reynolds. Pleasant viewing.